This is a problem that took on new urgency since the start of the pandemic and shows no signs of going away. Teachers are speaking with their feet, saying the status quo isn't working. As for the underlying issues and how teachers can be helped, our next guest can help us explore the options. Randi Weingarten is president of the American Federation of Teachers. Randi, good to have you with us. You represent more than 1.7 million teachers. When you talk to them, when you hear their stories, what are the reasons they're saying for why they're so burned out?
So, what they would tell, first off, thank you for doing this story. What they would tell you is that teaching has always been really hard. You're basically doing everything you can to help kids. But when you have a pandemic and then when you have the politics around the pandemic, that made it harder. And then when you have what's happened in Florida or Texas, where instead of actually supporting teachers, there's, banning books and, not letting them say what they need to do to address the needs of kids, and then also constraining the pay scale so that somebody who's new is making as much as somebody who's been there for 15 or 20 years. All of this is an aggregator, and that's why you saw that high level mark of teacher departures last year. But this is the good news. The good news is we did some work with a group called Educator Rising about what we can do to help teacher well-being and teacher burnout. And what we can do is kind of the simple things, which is if teachers feel valued and supported and they feel like somebody has their back, they're going to stay in teaching. 92% of the people who went through this program said it helped them. So we need to support teachers and keep the politics at the school house door and support teachers, and they will stay because they love kids.
Randi, what does it mean practically, what does it mean for teachers to feel valued and supported and for them to feel like, somebody else has their back? What does that look like in practice? Can you spell it out for us?
Sure. What it looks like is kind of what virtually every parent of public school kids do all the time, which is saying to teachers, thank you, saying, I really appreciate your partnership. What it looks like for school systems is actually helping people do their jobs, listening to them, saying to teachers, what do you need? I'm a high school social studies teacher. What do you need to help teach? What should the class size be? Do you have the books and supplies you need? Do you have the money you need to make a middle class salary? It's that simple. It's just treating teachers like real people, which is who they are. Teachers want to make a difference in the lives of kids. They need the support.
Randi, I don't mean to push back here, but you say it's that simple. But I imagine a lot of these teachers are running into issues of their own in their districts and their states when it comes to getting these resources. So what happens when they're saying, hey, this is what I need, and they can't get that? I mean, what's the solution then?
Well, the solution is that's part of the reason why a lot of teachers unionize. Teachers are basically more unionized than virtually any other worker in the United States, because they know that they need that together you can actually do the advocacy. Basically, what happens in the United States is we love teachers, we believe in them, but we don't create the circumstances that teachers need, the support, the environment that teachers and kids need to soar. We just put out a report today that said 3 out of 4 states actually spend less in investment in public schools than they did 10 years ago. So talk is kind of cheap. And what happens is, as my kids, my 11th graders used to say to me at Claire Barton High School in Brooklyn, New York, you got to walk your walk, not to just talk your talk. And what happens is a lot of governors talk about how important it is, but they don't actually spend the time, energy, and effort making it important. Instead, you got what DeSantis did, which is basically make a culture war instead of supporting teachers and kids to thrive.
Randy, with the last little bit of time we have left, how can some of the proposals we've seen in Congress recently meant to help parents, things like the child tax credit or paid family leave, trickle down to making teachers' jobs easier with the last minute we have?
Well, it's not about making it easier. It's a really hard job. It's about making sure that teachers get the support they need and the respect they need. So the child tax credit would be huge. It's a game changer. Parent family leave is a game changer for both parents and for teachers. But at the end of the day, what we need to do is have the investment sufficient to pay teachers a living wage, a middle-class wage, and to also make sure that they have the support in classrooms, books, supplies, the mental health services that kids need to actually thrive. Teachers want what kids need.
Randi Weingarten, president of the American Federation of Teachers, thank you for your time and your expertise. We appreciate it.
Thank you.